Have you ever lost your car keys? Yeah, you have. Ever lost a pregnant wife? Probably not. Me? I lost my face, and I don't mean that in some metaphorical, I don't know who I am anymore kind of way. I haven't gone crazy. My eyes, my nose, the shape of my lips, it's all still there. The bone structure is the same as yesterday. The problem is, to the rest of the world, I simply do not exist anymore. The security cameras in this city look right through me, like I'm a smudge on a dirty window. Supermarket doors don't open for me. My smartphone locks up because Face ID just sees a void. My name is Greg Holloway, and exactly 90 hours ago, I was a living, breathing, tax-paying citizen with a mortgage and a severe peanut allergy. And now? Now I'm a ghost in a digital shell, and I have a goddamn internet pop-up ad to thank for it. It all started with one stupid click. I was working a dead-end job at a call center tech support. Shit pay, shit hours, and this banner ad pops up. Extra cash. Get $500 right now. No credit check. Just a face scan and a signature. I was an idiot. I figured $500 could float me till Friday, keep the lights on, you know? I skimmed the terms and conditions. You know how it is. A wall of text 40 screens long, font size 4 pixels. I hit accept. I agreed to transfer the rights to use my biometric portrait to third parties for advertising purposes. A minute later, $500 landed in my checking account. I bought a pizza, some beer, paid the electric bill. Thanks, extra cash. The next morning, I stepped out to grab a pack of smokes. We've got one of those doorbell cameras. I look into the lens, it whirs, it focuses, and nothing. Door stays shut. I figured it was just a glitch. I went down into the Chicago L. I leaned my face into the turnstile scanner to pay the fare. We've got that biometric system here. The machine beeps and flashes. User not found. I go up to the booth attendant. She looks at me, then squints at her monitor and says, "Sir, what's wrong with your face? I'm just getting a gray smudge on my screen." At first I laughed. Then I got a cold chill down my spine. I rushed back home and opened my email. There it was, a message from Extra Cash with the subject line, "Your contract is active. Thank you for partnering with D-Pad." Attached was my advertising profile, and this is where I went gray, man, right there in my kitchen chair. Buried in the fine print of the contract I never read was this gem. The user grants exclusive rights to visual presence in public digital spaces. During the active advertising campaign, the client's original biometric signature will be substituted with promotional material provided by the partner. In plain English, they sold my goddamn mug. Some big fast food chain launching a new spicy wings deal had leased my face. Their AI was plastering the image of a happy guy with a mouthful of chicken right over my own. To every camera in the city, I wasn't Greg. I was Kyle, 24, spicy wings enthusiast. At first, it was almost funny. I'd walk up to an ATM and instead of insert card, the screen would flash the Hot Wings Paradise logo. I'd walk past a store window full of TVs, and in the reflection, instead of my grumpy morning mug, I'd see this smiling Hollywood face with a drop of ketchup on his chin. But then came the real hell. I drove to the office. Security wouldn't let me through. They didn't even see me. I mean, they saw a silhouette, but the facial recognition software scrubbed me out as an object with no valid ID. In the employee database, Greg Holloway was erased. I got fired for no show, because as far as the time clock was concerned, I never walked through the door. I called my wife. My wife, Emily, she's 8 months pregnant. She was at the grocery store. I said, "Honey, grab some milk. The self-checkout won't recognize me." She goes, "Oh yeah, I was looking for you outside. You know, there's this weird ad on the checkout camera screen. Instead of you, there's this guy with a chicken leg. Same build, but totally different face." "Emily," I said, and my fingers went ice cold. "That guy with the chicken leg, that is me." She laughed it off. She shouldn't have. That evening, I tried to meet her at the hospital for a routine fetal checkup. The nurse at reception looked at her monitor, looked at me, and hit the panic button. See, in hospital security, social security numbers are tied to biometrics. My number was gone. It was replaced by a temporary marketing ID. Hospital security, two huge guys, thought I was some junkie trying to sneak into the maternity ward. They threw me out into the rain. Emily was screaming, "That's my husband!" But they didn't believe her, because on their screens, standing right there, was me with Kyle's face, eating wings. I stood under the hospital windows, watching my pregnant wife cry, and I heard some guy in the waiting room laugh. "Look, that homeless guy has a chicken for a face." I got in my car and drove to the extra cash office. There was no office. The legal address led to a co-working space rented by a shell company in the Cayman Islands. I found a support number. A robot, naturally. 3 hours on hold. Finally, a living operator, sleepy voice from New Delhi. "Mr. Holloway, we apologize for the inconvenience. Your contract expires in 6 months. You can buy out the early termination clause." "How much?" I asked. $300,000, plus the penalty for interrupting the ad integration. I hung up. 300 grand? I couldn't scrape together $500 for food. But the worst part I only understood the next morning. I woke up in an empty house. Emily had gone to her mother's. I walked into the bathroom, turned on the water, and looked in the mirror. I expected to see myself, but I saw him, Kyle, smiling, airbrushed skin, wearing a baseball cap with the restaurant logo. The neural network had updated. Now it was overlaying the mask not just onto cameras, but onto my own perception of reflective surfaces. I couldn't see my own face anymore. I punched the mirror, I shattered it, cut my hands to hell. But in every broken shard on the floor, that same grinning Kyle stared back at me. Had the world gone mad? No, it's just business. A contract is a contract. 3 days passed. I stopped leaving the house. I turned off my front-facing camera. I covered every mirror in the apartment with black trash bags. But this morning, something happened. The reason I'm recording this video, I got a notification from my bank, a deposit for $6,000, royalties. Turns out my Kyle ad profile had gone viral. People online loved the guy who was always smiling on surveillance feeds while his real life fell apart. And then came the email from Dpad. They sent me a new contract. In exchange for extending the lease on my body for another 2 years, they promised full integration into reality. They want to make me the official face of the brand. They promised to give me a face back, just not my face, Kyle's face, forever. I'm looking at my hand right now. It's shaking. In the corner of the room, there's a broken piece of mirror I missed. I know if I pick it up, I'm going to see Kyle offering me a combo meal. But somewhere underneath all that pixelated bullshit, there's a wife giving birth to my son. And my son, he's never going to see his real father. He's going to see a fast food commercial. I don't know who I am anymore, but I know this. Before you click accept terms on the internet, read the goddamn fine print. And never, ever sell your face for $500. Because when you look in the mirror and see someone else's smile, it's not a horror movie anymore. It's a commercial break. Emily, if you're watching this, I'm still here. I'm behind the mask. Just wait for me. I'm going to rip this contract out, even if I have to tear the face off to do it.